Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahabushai, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahabushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video. And in this video, I'll be profiling this article on AMG, or American Media Group News.com's website, titled, Boom, Putin's chilling warning to Rothschild. Our future generations will be born without Rothschild chains around their wrists and ankles. And hey, Putin's correct about that. In the future, the Rothschilds won't have their grip, on the Russians or any other nation on the face of the earth, because they're all going to have the chains and fetters of iron around their wrists and ankles of the nation of Israel in the kingdom of heaven, because that's the only thing that comes next. Not Russia, not China, not anybody else, but the nation of Israel ruling for the rest of eternity. The nation of Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And at the head of that is going to be the elect of the nation of Israel, beginning with the 144,000. And, above them, of course, Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahabushai, the name of his son, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus. So, again, Putin is correct on that. But the true we got nexts isn't going to be the Russians, the Chinese, whoever. In a statement about the news, Mr. Putin said his country is finally free from the icy grip of the Rothschild banking cartel and NW0 cabal. 2 years previous, President Putin prohibited Jacob Rothschild and his NW0 banking cabal from operating in Russian territory under any circumstances. And I believe it was Snopes or one of those fact checker websites said this was all false. But when you further look into it, the Rothschilds did have a banking sector in Russia, but just a little while ago, they ceased all operations in it. Now, following his current success, Putin has vowed to continue unburdening Russia's economy from the dangerous monopoly of the U.S. dollar order to guarantee Russian sovereignty in an increasingly globalized world. Addressing the Russian parliament following his inauguration, Vladimir Putin said that stating total dependence from the worldwide banking cartel and Rothschild global money providing organizations would be the biggest gift he could provide to future generations. Yes, gist of it, but I am going to read this last paragraph. Putin declares Russia to be finally free from the icy grip of Lord Jacob Rothschild by making the last payment on all former Soviet Republic debts to the world's central banks, making Russia the first nation to set itself totally free from the oppressive grip of the New World disorders banking system. Putin has actually made sure future generations of Russians will not live in financial obligation slavery to the globalist cabal. But hey, this is just another sign that Esau Edom is at the end of his rulership, because these Russians are Edomites as well. And we can see, from Russia to the United States of America to these European nations, the kingdom is divided. And as Yahushua said in Mark chapter 3, if a kingdom be divided, it shall not stand. And the Most High is using Russia as a major player in these last days to, kick off and instigate a lot of things. But that doesn't mean that Russia, the Moabites, the so-called Chinese, or anybody else has next. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, which is speaking of Russia, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. So while the Most High is using Russia to, move a lot of things forward, at the end of the day, the Most High is still against Gog or Russia. And once Russia's fulfilled their obligations, then the Most High is going to fire you, so to speak. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And that's the Most High putting those Russian Edomites back into that old confrontational Soviet Union spirit, which we can clearly see with what? Their war in Ukraine, them helping set up the BRICS to create a financial and political alternative from Western control. And as we just read in that article, Putin talking big shit towards the Rothschilds, saying, look, if for future generations, they won't have your financial shackles around them. And I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. This is ultimately talking about Russia's military might being brought down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat, so-called Middle East, really Western Asia, for the battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the War of Armageddon in Joel chapter 3, the main part of World War III. And it's going to be Russia, again, that's going to be the main nation to lead a lot of these other nations against the West, chiefly the United States of America. And now I'm going to go to Revelation chapter 13. I'm going to read verses 1 to 2. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And hey, we're going into, the last leg of the 4th beast in Daniel chapter 2. Those iron toes mixed with miry clay, which is the reincarnated Roman Empire, or this EU, which is the 10 horns, NATO, which is the beast, system that's, currently in control of the planet right now, which the U.S. is a part of. And who's the main power behind that? The real kings, so to speak, the Rothschilds. And this all began when Esau started coming back into power with the Renaissance, or the rebirth of that Roman way, whose head was wounded, whose head with that deadly wound was healed. Verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, going into how, Esau really started coming into power for the first time back with Alexander the Great, Alexander the Macedonian, during those Grecian empires, which was that 3rd beast, the thighs and belly of brass on that statue of a man that King Nebuchadnezzar saw in his dream in Daniel chapter 2, that the prophet Daniel interpreted for him. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, which I'm going to get back to, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, speaking of the British, which was a part of the 7 heads. It was the 7th head, which the 8th came out of, speaking of America. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and his great authority. This whole Western system being built off of the ways of the ancient pagan Edomite Roman Empire, which was those legs of iron in Daniel chapter 2. But that feet as the feet of a bear is speaking of Russia, which isn't a part of this beast, but the feet are at the bottom of things, the end of things, so to speak. And it's going to be these Russians that are going to, ultimately play that role in taking down this system. But As it said back in Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 3, I'm against thee, O Gog. Once the Most High's used you Russians to fulfill prophecy, hey, then the true, rulers are going to come back into power. And they're going to be the ones to slap those chains around the ankles and wrists of your children. This is Psalms chapter 149. I'm going to read the whole chapter. It's only 9 verses. Praise ye Yahweh, sing unto Yahweh a new song, and his praise in the congregation of the saints. And that new song is being sung right now by the elect of the nation of Israel, the men of the Lord, breaking down these scriptures in 144% truth and clarity, showing who the true children of Israel are, who the biblical Edomites are, which are you so-called white people, what the true name of the Heavenly Father and His Son is, and what is going to take place in prophecy. World War III, the mark of the beast in Revelation 13, verses 16 to 18, and ultimately what? Yahushua making his second coming to save his elect and put that final nail in the coffin of the rulership of these heathens, chiefly these Edomites, and set up the eternal kingdom of heaven, where you heathens are going to be underneath the children of Israel. And the saints are those that have made a covenant with the Lord, which you can read about in Psalms 50. And what nation of people made a covenant with the Lord? The children of Israel. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. And the elect are singing praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai in their name right now, singing that new spiritual song. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. And, the elect are going to be the first ones saved, while the wicked of our people are going to be judged on this side. But then they're going to be reborn righteous through the loins of the elect, straight into the new covenant, where we're going to have the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts, and we're never going to go off again. So all Israel will be saved and will be righteous and will be at peace. Verse 5, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Hey, us being at rest in the kingdom of heaven. Now let's get to the meat of the matter. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, putting you heathen nations into slavery, beginning, with the elites out here, as it's about to go into, to bind their kings with chains, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and others of those, 13 families, which they're going to survive this coming destruction. They're going to go into their underground bunkers, their low orbit space stations, into their undersea bases, etc., etc. They're going to be preserved just so Yahushua and the 144,000 can go and get them first and drag them out by their hairs like the rats that they are and slap those cold chains on them. Read Amos chapter 9, verses 1 to 3. And their nobles with fetters of iron, these lower luminaries, like your presidents, your prime ministers, your people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk's, if any of them survive, hey, even Vladimir Putin. Remember, I am against thee, O Gog, to execute upon them the judgment written. What does it say in Revelation chapter 13, verses 9 to 10? He that leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And what does it say in Jeremiah 30, verse 16? All they that made you a prey and a spoil shall be made a prey and a spoil and go into slavery. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. And to the elect, which Abaratazah, myself, and you sincere, Akim out there are a part of that number. Hey, it's going to be an honor to be next to Yahushai, rounding up these surviving heathens, beginning with the kings and the nobles and slapping those chains around them. But now I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 49, verse 23. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. These elites, these higher-ups, again, a lot of them surviving because they're going to be the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom of heaven. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth in complete subjection underneath us, and lick up the dust of thy feet, which is just, symbolic of them being in a low position. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. Point blank, period. And if you've got that spiritual eye salve, you can clearly see that all these end times prophecies before Yahushai's second coming and the establishment of the kingdom of heaven are either in the process of taking place or taking place as we speak. We're at the door of this thing. So to you sincere Akim and Akwat out there, hey, just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And to you heathens, and to Vladimir Putin, and y'all are all fulfilling your role right now. And like I've been saying throughout the video, Putin was right saying that the Rothschilds are not going to have their chains around the ankles and the wrists of his people anymore. But that's because the chains of the children of Israel are going to be around the ankles and the wrists of your people and the rest of these heathen nations. So that's it with this video. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.